I'm Mark, and I have had a YouTube channel for quite a while, and well, I think this deserves a video. I do repairs on things, and this this light controller came to me, and if I have ever seen anything that deserves the title of fire hazard, this is it. So there it is. Sorry about the bad lighting. I have 3 of my lamps wired up to this thing on my wonderful workshop. It's a Chauvet, probably not saying that, CH-865. See if I can get that. Hey, it focused. It's got 4-channel controller with sound activation, and each channel is separately fused, and you got 2 plugs per channel. So I'm going to turn this on, and as you can see, the lights come on. This is going to be tricky, but if I shake this, now this is not in sound activation mode. That light should not be flickering when I shake this. These lights stay on, but the lights plugged in flicker. So now let me turn this off and I'll show you what's happening. Hopefully that's enough light to see what's going on. I ripped this thing apart. There's not much to it. I'll give you a quick tour. You got the outlets, the fuses, the sound activation mode. There's a microphone right here. You got status indicators and a main switch. You got the link and the foot switch connections and the power input. Voltage selection. This is dual voltage. And then we flop around. So we got the transformer powering the controller section, the voltage switch, the main switch, and the potometer for the control, a status board, and the outlets. And everything looks really well laid out until you get in here. I'm hoping I can get this to show. If you can see, might have to go get a light. Let me go get a light. Okay, these thin wires in here are 18 gauge, and these thicker wires in here are 14 gauge. Focus that. So this big wire with the main feeds is 14, and then these smaller wires that come after the controller are 18. Well, if we dig in here and we look at the back of these outlets, that says use solid number 14 American wire gauge copper only. And these outlets only have push-in connectors. There's no screws. So you have to push the wire in. So, look, that does not look like copper, nor is that anywhere close to the 14 gauge that the specifications of the outlet require. And guess what happens? This comes loose over time and pulls out and wiggles, and that's causing an issue. I've taken outlets out of houses with 14 gauge wire, and the wire just pulls right out of the plug, and I replace it and put it back on the screw. But for this product to have such a design flaw, that it could, yes, it's fused, but it could still create resistance over here in the outlets and cause a fire hazard. And I'm really quite surprised for this product to be that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these wires out on each outlet, solder them onto some 14 gauge wire like it requires, and then pop that back in there. And then I'll come back here and show you what I've done. And that should fix it. And see, they use the right gauge wire over here, which is solid copper, but again, they've used stranded over here and stranded over here, and stranded everywhere else. So they know that they needed solid, but now these wires are 14 gauge stranded, and they're actually in there fairly well. But these 18 gauge are really way too small to be cheating in that manner. And that's what's happening with this one channel. This one wire is so loose that it barely makes contact at points. So if you loaded that circuit up, it would actually melt that outlet out because of the resistance right in that joint. So I'm going to see if I can fix it, and I'll show you what I've done. So if you have one of these, you can possibly, if you have the skill level, repair it yourself, or take it to somebody who can. Okay, hopefully you can see what I've done there. I've got some real 14 gauge copper wire, what a concept, and stuck it into the connectors that require 14 gauge copper wire. And then I've come up, and then I've soldered on the 18 gauge aluminum stranded wire, which goes over to the fuse component and then into the circuit board. I've done some cleanup with the wire, and now let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, I've got better lighting now that I got it turned on. These don't wiggle as much. They're actually attached in there now, like they're supposed to be. And I'll come over this with some heat shrink and trim off the excess, and then it'll be fixed up, and it won't be a fire hazard anymore. What a concept! So that should fix this up, and it can go back to its owner. And I'm really shocked at the fact that they manufactured it this way. But these are actually weird outlets. They got a normal outlet on the back, but on the front they got the square shape. It's kind of odd. But other than that, it works, and it'll be repaired after this. Just get that model number there, because I didn't find any information about that, so I decided to put the video up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and this will be the second one that I've ever done, so maybe I'll do more if it goes well. Bye. Hello, this is Editor Mark. Yes, 2015 was a long time ago. I hope you hand this off to a professional if you are uncertain with any aspect of this. I did put heat shrink on afterwards. I did not get a picture of that. Otherwise, if left off, it's probably even worse of a hazard. I can't say I found anything worse than that, although there's been a few houses. I hope you're practicing safe electrical.